St. Louis sports fans, go deeper with STL Sports Central Insiders. Get exclusive access to Bernie, Randy, Claves, Jamal Mayers, and more. Plus, your chance to watch a Blues game in the alumni box with Jamal himself. Monthly giveaways, Bernie's columns all week, and support for local sports media. Join now at stlsportscentral.com.
Hey there, I'm Bernie Miklasz, and welcome to the Bernie Show here on STL Sports Central, presented by DraftKings. The crown is yours. I am, in fact, Bernie Miklasz, and I've been writing and talking about St. Louis area sports since 1985. I am keeping busy here at STL Sports Central, my new happy home, and you can catch me frequently throughout the week on multiple shows on KMOX FM and AM. Before I get into today's topic, I once again, and thank you for your patience, want to ask you to please support local media and our site by becoming a STL Sports Insider here at STL Sports Central. 9 months since launching, STL Sports Central wants to expand on our local coverage by adding more talent and, coming up with new types of content that's going to provide even more good content than we have already. So to accomplish that, we'll introduce a membership model for a reasonable subscription fee. And as this applies to me and what I'll be doing, I'm still going to write 5 columns a week, sometimes more. My Monday column every week will be available to everyone, but whatever else I write during the week will be exclusive to the members of our insider program. And as far as my videos, all of them are available to everyone. Although I think I need some new equipment to make the damn things look better. But what you see is what you get. Never promised to be fancy, right? I'm a grinder. I will do more to connect with members of our inside program by providing opportunities for direct access. When we come up with a plan, a schedule on that, I will be happy to share it with you. So on behalf of our team at STL Sports Central, I want to thank you for your support of local sports media, and especially want to thank you for supporting our site. We're off to a good start, but we want it to be great, and we want to get to a higher level. So your support really does make a difference. Thank you. I feel like one of those people that do those PBS when they're showing like a documentary of a John Prine concert or something, and they cut in, with those fundraising pitches. So I'm saying this because I'm laughing because it's all in good fun. But yeah, I like to make fun of myself, so it's cool. So thank you for supporting PBS. Anyway, today's topic, let's get to business. I'm a little loopy today, not feeling well, under the weather. So you'll have to bear with me. All right, today's topic. I know that Jordan Walker will still be a young man at age 24 during the 2026 season, but can he take a big step forward and become a true impact hitter instead of continuing on as a giant negative? Listen, I think it makes sense for Chaim Bloom and the Cardinals to stick with Jordan Walker for a while, and certainly next season. There is no reason to give up on Jordan at an early age, and for the first time, he will have the benefit. We'll have an opportunity to benefit from some of the new smart baseball minds and instructors and teachers that were recruited by Chaim Bloom and Rob Cerfolio. Rob is the assistant general manager in charge of player development and physical performance. So as I've said several times, you don't offload Walker now and sell low before giving your new baseball operation and all the people they've hired a chance to get Walker on track. What I don't know is whether the Cardinals would take the step of relegating Walker to AAA Memphis, where he would have more focused time, more regular time, more hands-on time with the new staff down there to fix his many flaws with a more capable set of people helping him, and they've already helped other Cardinals minor leaguers get better. And this is a real thing. So there's some wisdom, I think, if Walker gets off to a poor start, there's some wisdom into just sending him back to school. And that there's nothing wrong with that. If Jordan Walker wants to be a good major league hitter and he wants to not keep hearing what a bust he is, going back to school is not an outrageous thing for him to ask of him, is what I'm trying to say. So But this ties into something else. Also in question is Walker's willingness to actually learn from the teaching by making changes based on what he's instructed instead of going his own way all the time as if he knows better. Walker's work ethic and urgency was criticized, in my opinion, rightfully so, by Cardinals batting coach Brett Brown last summer. Before going deeper into the video, let me do a quick reset to remind you, because you need to be reminded of just how bad Jordan Walker's has been over the past 2 seasons. So in 574 combined plate appearances through 2024 and 2025, Walker batted .211. He had an awful .270 on base percentage. He slugged .324. Had an OPS under 600 and was, over those 2 seasons, 32% below league average in his overall hitting performance. And a huge problem, the biggest problem, is Jordan Walker's horrendous plate discipline. Nothing's going to get better unless he improves that and cleans that up dramatically. You know, there's so much wrong with his game that it would probably take an hour to talk about it all, but I won't do that. Here are some of the questions I'm looking at, and then we're going to get into some of his performance markers last year, just depressing. But some of the questions I'm looking at: where does Walker's performance rate among major league position players over the last 2 seasons? Is Jordan Walker the worst player, I should say the worst position player in the majors since the start of 2024? Is there hope that he can turn it around and charge forward in a positive way that'll transform his career? Are there some examples from the past that show you that a guy who struggles in his age 22, 23 seasons and is really, really bad can find that switch to turn on that light bulb and all of a sudden he improves pretty substantially? And how long will the Bloom regime stick with Jordan Walker? How much more time and effort will the Cardinals invest in him, especially if he doesn't invest in himself through a more urgent approach and a more dedicated approach to getting better? But first, before I dive into all that stuff and other stuff, it's time for me to update the countdown to DraftKings official launch in Missouri, starting December the 1st. As I record this video here on November the 20th, DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app, will be open for wagering just 10 days from now. 10 days. Let's go. It's time to get you ready. Missouri residents can create a personal DraftKings Sportsbook account in our state right now, and you'll be ready to jump into the action when that action officially gets underway in 10 days. New Missouri customers can download the DraftKings Sportsbook app today. And when we go live on the first day of December, you place a $5 bet to unlock $300 in bonus bets. DraftKings Sportsbook brings you everything you need to elevate your game day experience, including live in-game betting with so many things you can wager on, very quick payouts when you win, an extensive variety of sports to choose from, and many, many ways to join the fun and take your shot, your best shot at making money. And you can do all of this from your phone. Like it a lot. And when DraftKings officially goes live in the state of Missouri on the first day of December, you're going to be betting with the Sportsbook app that is trusted by millions because it is safe, it is secure, it has lightning fast money withdrawals, and it is easy to use. So download that DraftKings Sportsbook app now and create that DraftKings Sportsbook account in Missouri so you can look around the site, get to know it, and be ready to roll on the first day of December. To sign up for that account, just go to DraftKings.com/sportsbook. Starting on the first day of December, you can receive $300 in bonus bets with just a $5 bet when DraftKings goes live. I know I've said that to you 2 or 3 times in this little message, but it's worth repeating since we're this close. Let's do this. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Must be 21 or older. Physically present in Missouri. Eligibility restrictions apply. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Exclusive customers redeem pre-launch sign-up offer. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos. All right. Thank you for your patience. Welcome back to the second segment of today's Bernie Show. Please do us all a favor and subscribe to our STL Sports Central YouTube channel. You can do it right under the video you're watching now. And while you're there, please hit the like button on the video. These things help us a lot, and we're grateful for your support. Now, back to Jordan Walker. We can make a case. I don't say this lightly. We can make a case that Jordan Walker was the worst position in Major League Baseball, the worst position player in Major League Baseball over the last 2 years. Now, I'm going to roll through this. I'm going to go quick. Just keep in mind that we're talking about a sample size in terms of how many hitters. We're talking about 291 Major League hitters with at least 550 plate appearances since the beginning of the 2024 regular season. So that's our sample group. And Walker is at the bottom or close to it in the ways that matter in which we evaluate performance. So let's look at this group of 291 hitters over the last couple years to see where Jordan Walker fits in since the start of 2024. All right. And first of all, last 2 years, he's got a minus 1.9 wins above replacement, and that negative WAR ranked dead last among this sample group of 291 hitters. That right there tells you he was the worst player in baseball. Not pitcher, but position player. His overall hitting performance was 32% below the major league average offensively the last 2 years, and that put him at number 283 among the 291. His 211 batting average, number 273 out of 291. His terrible on-base percentage, number 281 out of 291. His anemic slugging percentage, 283 out of 291. His 595 OPS was 5 spots from the bottom. His defense over this time ranked 230th. It's actually a little better than I thought. Walker's plate discipline issues, for example, here we go. Combination of called strikes and swinging strikes. You put those things together. 31%, ninth worst in that group of 291 batters. His contact rate was the 10th worst among the 291. His 31% strikeout rate was number 276 out of 291. This is a depressing profile. It is a damning profile. I mean, Walker, listen, I don't enjoy piling on. I had high hopes for him. I was excited by the potential he showed in 2023 as a rookie. But the last couple years, and I think it even got worse this past season, couldn't hit for average, couldn't hit for power, couldn't get on base, couldn't lay off bad pitches, couldn't control the strike zone, couldn't play respectable defense. His base running over the last 2 years was average. But if that's the best thing you can say about it, wow. I mean, no wonder people are wondering whether can we now declare he is a bust? I think there's more time. But listen, this is a pretty sorry situation. And unless it gets better. For historical perspective, when we talk about the last 2 seasons, at 32% below average offensively, Walker's hitting was a lot closer to that of Pete Kozma or some random weak-hitting St. Louis backup catcher than a strong, physically imposing, should-be powerful hitter like George Hendrick or Jack Clark. Seriously. He's got like the same offensive profile of Kerry Robinson. Remember our friend Kerry? And you can understand that if it's Kerry Robinson, but not Jordan Walker. There is so much to repair here, and Walker hasn't been the best student. So I don't even know, and I know this sounds like a little dramatic. I'm not trying to be, I promise. I don't even know if fixing Walker in a meaningful way is even possible because there's just so much that has to be fixed. Now, I do think it's possible, and I'll tell you why in our next segment, but my confidence right now is as low as Walker's batting average. What does history tell us about a hitter like Jordan Walker who performed 30% below league average offensively or worse in his age 23 season? See, because that's what Walker did in 2025, and that's where it resumes in 2026. Will it be a different story? Can he do this? Have other hitters of that age group done this? Well, I did some research on that, and I'm going to share what I found when I return from my third segment. But now, Need to fire up the men out there by suggesting BlueChew as a way to jumpstart your intimate relations, wink, wink, with your partner. I know what BlueChew has done for me, and I'm 66. So that's why I want you to try BlueChew to find out what it can do for you, and it doesn't matter what your age is. And we will make it easy for you to get that going. BlueChew is the original brand offering chewable tablets for enhanced performance for those special and pleasurable times with your partner. If your bat has been dragging, BlueChew can help power you up. You want to cut down on those strikeouts that leave you kind of feeling embarrassed? Well, go for BlueChew. You got a helper there. Do you want to turn your, shall we call it, soft contact into hard contact? Well, grab some BlueChew, and as we like to say, chew it and do it. Sign up at BlueChew.com, consult with one of the licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you will soon receive your prescription at your doorstep. No fuss, no worries. And on top of that, your first month of BlueChew is free when you use the promo code Bernie. That's me. You just pay $5 shipping. That's promo code Bernie to get your first month free. The only cost to you is the $5 shipping charge. That's a great deal. That's a sweet deal. So take advantage of it. All you're doing is trying, right? Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. We thank BlueChew for helping the guys out there and also for sponsoring the Little Old Bernie Show. Thank you. All right, let's get into this. Welcome back to the third segment. I got a little historical perspective. I'm trying to find out age 23, over the last 30 seasons, age 23 hitters who failed in a bad way that was similar to what Walker did in 2025, right? So were these 23-year-old hitters at the time able to sort of, jump up and pump up their offense and become much better hitters, or at least better hitters at age 24? And 24 is the age because that's what Walker will be for most of the 2026 season. So I want to offer some positive comps, and there are some, but to be honest with you, not a ton. But if you think there's a reason to have or hold out more optimism for Jordan Walker going forward, I can offer you at least a few cases where hitters did, in fact, go from a brutally bad offensive performance at age 23 to climbing above average and going higher at age 24, 25, somewhere in that range, but no older than 25. Now, the most hopeful example is a really inspirational example, except I don't really buy it. I don't think they're the same guys. But the example is Carlos Beltrán. He was 31% below average offensively for the KC Royals at age 23. But in the next season, at age 24, Beltrán all of a sudden was 24% above the league average offensively. That was a huge jump, and he proceeded from there to build a career that's going to get him into Cooperstown, maybe even this year. But like I said, when you look at Walker, I don't see Carlos Beltrán. There's so many differences in their physiques. Beltrán was a switch hitter. Beltrán's movement, even when he was bad as a kid, there was a gracefulness about him. I just, even though it fits the model we're talking about, I don't see a match there, because that would be a big reach for me to say, well, yeah, he can become just like Carlos Beltrán. That's a huge reach. All right, how about some other perhaps more realistic examples? Edgar Renteria the Cardinals got him from the Marlins. He was very young, and he was a bad hitter for the Cardinals in his age 22, his age 23, and 24 seasons. But from there, Edgar Renteria won the Silver Slugger Award as the best hitter at his position for 2 straight years. He was 25 and 26 during those years. So I'm saying that's not an exact match, but it doesn't exactly match Walker's trajectory, but there's enough there to describe the way a young and not so good hitter can mature and improve in general terms, even if the age isn't in sync. It's close enough. A current player, Milwaukee's Bryce Terang, was 39% below average offensively in 2023 at age 23. He improved that He was still below average, but he improved that by like 25% the next season at age 24. And then this past season at age 25, he had a breakout. Bryce Terang's offense for the Brewers was 21% above the league average. He had some really good numbers, and I think they're going to get even better and better and better. The Mets have a third baseman who was a touted prospect, Brett Baty. You've probably heard of him. He was 23 years old a couple of years ago at age 23. He improved when he was 23, let me say this again. When he was 23, he was 34% below league average offensively, Brett Baty. But he improved at age 24, and then he took a nice jump this past season and finished 11% above league average at age 25. I think a good example, even though he's a left-handed hitter, Wil Myers. Remember him? San Diego Padres, Tampa Bay, a couple other clubs. Wil Myers was 27% below average offensively at age 23, but starting with his age 24 season, Wil Myers put together a sequence of 7 above average offensive seasons over an 8-year stretch. 7 above average and only 1 that was slightly below average over an 8-year sequence. Other age-relevant examples over the past 30 years, and I looked far and wide for more, but other age-relevant, as in relevant to Jordan Walker examples, include Mark Kotsay, Torrey Hunter, Coco Crisp. But in Hunter's case, the above-average offensive season didn't happen until age 25, and then he kind of took off. Walker will be age 25 in the 2027 season. So again, pretty close to the Torrey Hunter timeline. That said, and this is a big one, none of those guys that I just alluded to had Walker's chronic plate discipline problems. They're really, really extreme. And I would have to assume that the first item on a what must Walker do list is learning the strike zone, because this dude's got no chance to develop into a high impact hitter, hits for average, hits for power, gets on base, unless he learns the difference between a ball and a strike, or he has a stronger mindset to avoid fishing for those low and away pitches that opponent pitchers feed him. And I'm surprised they don't laugh when they throw the Jordan Walker those low and away pitches, because they can get comically, laughably easy outs by doing so. And he just keeps chasing them. So, yeah, there is some hope, but there's also a lot of reasons for pessimism unless he fixes the plate discipline issue. And maybe the staff, and I'm talking about the player development staff, if he goes to Memphis, I think they can help him, because they've already helped an emerging prospect, Joshua Baez, who had terrible plate discipline. They called a timeout. They basically put him in an instruction camp with just the staff and him, and they worked on it and they worked on it and worked on it. He came out of it a better hitter with great plate discipline. Now his career's taken off. But for all the positive things I'm mentioning, there is a really substantial amount of failures on that list of 23-year-old hitters that never made a breakthrough. They just kind of languished and then faded away, bounced around, faded away. The 2025 season is going to be a massively important testing ground for Jordan Walker, because he's got to prove to Chaim Bloom and the Cardinals that he's turned a corner and he's working his ass off and he's worthy of more time here. And if Walker is horrific again, offensively and defensively in 2025, Bloom is going to have a very tough decision to make. He could stick with him for another year, 2026. But if Walker is awful, that could speed up a timetable for a Chaim Bloom decision. For now, I'll leave it at this. This journey of going from being the worst position player in the majors and then rising to an all-star level or close to that, my goodness, that is a humongous mountain to climb. I'm rooting for Jordan Walker. I don't know whether my support will matter. I think only Jordan Walker can really fix, or at least start the process of fixing Jordan Walker. That's it for today. Thank you for watching, and thanks to DraftKings for presenting the Bernie Show on STL Sports Central.